Hi, my name is Mike Horton from Horton's Orthotics and Prosthetics. Today I want to talk about sock ply fit. Basically, the two most important parts of a prosthesis is one, the actual construction of the prosthesis, and that's pretty much up to us. We decide that together. The other important part is the fit. The reason why I want to talk about the fit is this actually changes once you get your prosthesis, and this is a big source of confusion for new amputees especially. Day one, your prosthesis should fit nice and tight. Once you start walking on this prosthesis, and I'll go over this a little bit more in a few minutes, but your limb is actually going to change. The prosthesis itself does not. This stays the same, okay? So what happens is, as you walk on this from each day forward, your limb shrinks a little bit over time till it finally gets to the point that it no longer fits. Once this fit is poor, you basically go through it too deep and you're hitting on different bones and it becomes extremely uncomfortable. Now, what we do to manage that or resolve that is we add all these different thicknesses of socks. So you'll start out with what we call a 1-ply. There's also a 3-ply, and then you're also given a 5-ply. You will be given several socks for each ply. So basically, it's just like simple addition. As you shrink, you'll start out 1-ply, 2-ply, 3-ply, so on and so forth. And with all these different combinations of socks, you can add to come up with whatever number is comfortable. Most folks usually have about what we call a 5 to 8-ply reduction in volume throughout the day. So I want to kind of just touch a little bit on how that works. So you get up in the morning, your leg is maybe a little swollen overnight. Prosthesis fits relatively good. As soon as you start walking, I mean literally, you go get a cup of coffee, you go maybe let your bed outside or whatever, you've probably already shrunk 1 or 2 ply. So my advice honestly is, as you walk, if it's comfortable, great. As soon as something doesn't feel right, that's when you need to experiment with socks. Obviously, you're going to increase the ply. So start out with 1-ply. Take a few steps. If that feels good, great. If not, add 2-ply. Does that feel better? Yes, it does. Take a few steps. Add a 3rd-ply. Well, that feels a little tight. Now we know you're at 2-ply. You walk around for another 30 minutes, starts to get uncomfortable again, you're going to add more ply. So we always encourage our new amputees to keep socks around. If you're going to be traveling, going to rehab maybe, keep them in your purse, keep them in your pocket, bag, whatever, however that works for you. But you'll want to increase ply pretty regularly. So again, you'll have a 5, a 3, and a 1, and you'll have probably at least 3 socks each size and probably 6 socks on the 1-ply. And by having those different combinations of numbers, you can come up with any ply. You can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. If it's 8-ply, probably your best bet's going to be a 5-ply and a 3-ply, but you can wear 5 1-plies and a 3-ply. So whatever combination feels the best for you. You'll also be instructed on this the day you're fit with your prosthesis, and then each subsequent follow-up visit, we can review these things. If you're confused, not a problem. But that's the biggest influence that you personally will have on the fit and comfort of your prosthesis. All right, so let's talk about the number of ply for these socks. The thickest sock that you'll be given is a 5-ply, and it's stamped with the number 5. And generally speaking, industry-wide, most of your 5-ply socks are going to be green, okay? You will also be given a 3-ply sock. Again, generally speaking, that's going to be yellow, and you will be given multiple 1-ply socks. Typically, the 1-plies don't have any type of labeling. It's also obvious that it's a 1-ply. If you were to be able to hold these 2 socks, this sock's much heavier and much thicker. It's a 3-ply. And again, the 5-ply is obviously much thicker and heavier than the 3-ply, okay? And again, you will probably be given 6 of your 1-plies. You will be given 3 3-plies and 3 5-plies. So that's a total of 15 plus 9, so that's 24 ply plus your 6. So you're around 32 ply socks is what you'll be given the day you're delivered with your prosthesis. So with all those different numbers and all those different combinations, you should be able to come up with any number of ply. So if you start out and you start walking, this thing starts to shrink, becomes uncomfortable, you will add a 1-ply and then put on the prosthesis. Once you get to the point that 1 or 2 ply is no longer comfortable, you can either add an additional 1-ply for a total of 3, or you can take the first 2 ply off and add just a 3-ply sock. However you want to do that. Doesn't matter on the combination. Once you shrink to a 4-ply, obviously you can wear a 3-ply and one 1-ply for a total of 4-ply. You can also wear 4 of these. Now remember, you're going to be given 6 1-plies. So once you get past, say, 7-ply, you're going to have to start wearing one of your thicker socks to come up with that combination. And it really doesn't matter if you wear 5 1-plies or a 5-ply. It's going to approximate the same fit. Some people, for whatever reason, think one is more comfortable than the other. Some, it's just a hassle because you literally have to put on 5 socks versus 1 sock. The message here is your limb is going to reduce in volume. When that happens, you are not going to seat properly into your prosthesis, and it is going to become uncomfortable. Every amputee gets socks, and especially every new amputee has to wear more of a variety of socks as the day progresses. Now I'd like to spend a little time on what we call wear and care, how you take care of these socks. First thing we always recommend is go by the manufacturer's suggestions. Me personally, most insurances will cover these once a year. So I tend to err on the side of be careful with them. So I always recommend hand wash them in a mild detergent and then let them air dry. Most manufacturers have wear and care instructions on them. Most of these socks can be machine washed and dried on a low setting perhaps. That's something we can discuss when you're fit with your specific sock. There are different types of socks for different types of prostheses. I'm not going to get into all that. The ply fit is what I want most of you guys to understand. They're all the same. There are wool socks, there's acrylic socks, there's spandex socks. They're all the same as far as the thickness, but how you wash and care for those are a little different. I always tell folks just be really careful. I want you to understand that you should be changing your socks. You should experiment. Even if it's not hurting, try an extra sock. It may actually feel better. So it's one of those things you'll kind of have to experiment with, and it's definitely going to change. So, and it'll increase. It'll go from 1 or 2 or maybe 5 to 8, but it's going to progress. If you get confused on sock ply fit, obviously call us. That's what we're there for. We're your prosthetists. We're your prosthetic providers. That's part of the service. You can always call at any time. If you have questions about how to care for them, if you've changed the socks and you still can't get comfortable, call us. It may be something we can explain over the phone. If not, we'll have you come into the office and we'll see what's going on.